Is that right? Okay. All right. Yeah, it is the right one. Any of you not have your books yet? Okay. Ooh, okay. They didn't. Okay. Any of you handy to go to the Birmingham campus? They may have some spare ones there. I would call first. Yeah. Okay. I will check. I've got a class right after this one. If I can get down there between classes, I'll go to check and see if they have any more to put out. And I'll also check and see if they have any at the Birmingham campus. You might be able to. Well, what they may be able to do is get some of them moved over here.
I just let you know.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so we are now recording. And from what y'all were telling me, because here we go, it may come up here. We were talking about, okay. It's having trouble doing its things here. Okay. We almost finished the syllabus on Monday. Did we finish American Disability Act? Okay, we got that covered. I think we're down here in the course calendar. That's where it said we was, where I left off last time. And I think I told you before, I haven't gotten the syllabus updated. You'll notice this is 2015, so the dates aren't right. But pretty much everything else is, this is just the college calendar. It's really not the course calendar. College calendar, when we're here, when we're not, that kind of stuff. So I'll get the dates updated. Maybe this afternoon. I've got several things I've got to take care of. I'm trying to hire another adjunct instructor. We still are missing on the Birmingham campus 2 classes. We got people covering them, but it's been tough. This has been a really busy fall. Okay, so anyway, as soon as I can get that done, hopefully I can get these things updated. All right, so I'm not going to go over that much. Any questions on the college calendar? You can see it on the website, the Lawson State website. There's a thing, calendar. Then I'll also update this. This will just to give you an idea. Nothing fixed in stone here, but of course the dates are wrong. But this is about what we're going to try to cover. 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. The same things I talked about last time. This just breaks it down day by day. Will we follow this to the letter? Probably not. Okay, there will be delays. I'm sure anytime there's lots of questions, we get slowed down a little bit. But I'd rather you get the material well, the foundational stuff, and then we'll build on it as we go. So this is my goal. I'm not going to beat myself up if we don't fit this every day. Okay, so just because it says the first test will be September 16th, that's not written in stone. We'll do the first test when we get the material covered. Okay, hopefully it'll be somewhere around there though. All right, so I'll get this updated, but again, just to correct the dates. The sections and stuff are pretty close to what it will be. All right, and then once I've got everything done, I'll let you know the syllabus is complete, it's updated, it's on Blackboard. It's not now, but when I get it done, I'll let you know, and then you can go to this page and either print off this page, print, sign your name and date, or you can just type in your name and email it to me. That'll be fine too. But once you do. Right now, are there any questions on the syllabus? Except for the dates and the office hours, that kind of stuff, I'll get those corrected. But for content and what we're going to do in the course. Any questions? All right, good deal. Okay, the first part will be on, now, where does Screencast-O-Matic put those? Right now, they're just out in a file somewhere. I've got to move them to Blackboard. My guess is I'll move them to content. Content is where most of the stuff's going to be. Are y'all familiar enough with Blackboard to know where that is? Okay. Go to the content on the very home page of this course, content, click on it. That's where I'll put your syllabus. That's where I'll put the research paper instructions. That's where I'll put my locator card. I don't have that done yet either. I'll put all the PowerPoints there, okay? I'll also put any websites that students have told me about or I found or discovered that you might find helpful for the class, supplementary material, okay? And I'm guessing that's where I'll be putting the Screencast-O-Matic. They're not there yet, but I'll try to get that done, like I said, either today or Thursday. Now, I think I told you Friday I'm usually on the Birmingham campus, but this coming Friday we're going to be screening for math position. They advertised for a math position in the summer and then got all the applications in. They had a closeout date somewhere, June or July somewhere, and never formed a committee. They formed the committee the week we were off. Okay, so we couldn't do anything then, and we're going to start screening for that position on Friday. So I will not be in the office much on Friday. Probably 7:45 I'll be there because very seldom does everybody get started over there that early. So, and then whenever we start screening, I'll be screening probably most of the rest of the morning. But if we finish, then I'll be back in the office toward the back end of that too. Okay. Now, there's one other thing I didn't mention before, but I probably should, just because it will affect my Friday office hours in the future. I have a very mild form of leukemia, and right now I'm on a regimen that I have the treatment once every quarter. And that's usually not too bad, but the counts have been slowly going up, so the doctor thinks we ought to go to a different medication. Its protocol calls for treatment once a week for 8 weeks, then once a month for 4 months, and then you go to once a quarter. So for much of this fall, if we go that route, I will maybe out on Fridays. Okay, now I always ask them to schedule my treatments in the afternoon so I don't miss work, but a lot of times they don't. Okay, so if they schedule me in the morning, the odds are I won't be here. And even when they schedule me in the afternoon, I have to be there an hour early for blood work and time it takes to get there. So I'll probably be leaving early. So don't count on me being there every Friday, but I'll let you know once I know what that schedule is going to be, whether I'm going to be there Friday or not, and how long that will be. So, just because I don't want you trying to find me on Fridays when I'm not going to be there. Okay. That done. Let's now go to the research paper. Try to move this along. I'm talking way too much. Now, if you remember from the syllabus, the research paper is required, not droppable. So get this down, folks. You choose your topic. I'm not going to assign you topics. You choose a topic, anything within the scope of this course. And this is algebra. That's lots of topics there. We will run into people in the book when we mention different things. So any person that's contributed to algebra, which tons of those, that would be a potential topic. Theory, we'll see lots of theories out here. You can write on that. A phenomenon that is described or you use algebra to describe it or explain it, that would be good, okay? And I really like the applications, okay? I don't know what your majors are, but whatever major you are, I bet you there's going to be tons of ways that you use algebra in that major. So that would be a potential topic, and there's tons of topics just within that. Or any other such topic that you have an interest. I'd rather read a paper that you're interested in than something you just, I have to do this, and stuff. So pick a topic that you have an interest in that relates to algebra, whether it's people, theory, phenomena, whatever, and go for it. Now, one other option here, though. Remember I said those websites that people have found useful? If you find a website useful that you say, wow, why couldn't he be like this guy? You better not. No, or you just say, wow, this explains it so much better. I wish I had known this before I read the book, or something like that. If you can find a website like that, you can do that internet application. Now, it could be a YouTube video, a demonstration, just a site, however they do it. If you find it useful for you, you can write on that if you choose to. Okay, you can write what you found lacking here or there. Okay, confusing, whatever things that weren't quite clear to you. How this website enlightened you. Okay, that probably a paragraph there at least. Okay, things you wish the website would have gone even further because it was so good, you know, or other things you saw out there that would be good, okay? And then possibly another, comparison to other websites. I went to 15 different websites. This one did this the best. A few others did that, yeah. You can think of several things to write to get, let's say, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, something out of it. That can be your paper, okay? That internet application, demonstration, YouTube video, whatever it is. Now, what I'd like to ask you to do either this week or next week, probably next week, but if you can do it today, you can. Write your name on a piece of paper and a topic you would like to write on, okay? So that means you get this scrolling through the book, see if there's anything, any people, any applications, other things you might want to do. Start searching the internet, see if you find sites that you think will be really useful. You know, do that, see if you can find something. Now, you're certainly welcome to change your mind, okay? I just want to get you thinking about it now. So write your name and your paper topic there, but later, you can't change your name, but you can change your paper topic if you choose. Now, since you're going to waste a whole piece of paper on just a name and a paper topic, if you want to give me this additional thing, this has nothing to do with the paper. But it happens, not frequently, but occasionally. I'll get a frantic phone call from someone at the front desk or admissions or on, something that someone has got some sort of emergency situation, someone's desperate trying to reach somebody, and the phone numbers in our system aren't right. And I spent most of last week calling students, telling them that classes were canceled and things like this and trying to help them do. And believe me, it's better than it used to be, but it was one every 2 or 3 a class. I just couldn't get in touch with it all. Sometimes even more than that. And these were small classes. That's why we're canceling. So quite often the stuff on the system isn't right. So if you don't mind giving me a phone number, you don't have to. This is completely up to you. You can also write your best phone number down. I bet you for most of you that's going to be that cell number, right? Okay, now, what if that cell phone gets left at home, or the battery dies, or you change carriers and forget to tell somebody, or got run over by a truck, or whatever happened and it's not working? If there is a good backup number, mom's landline or something like that, that would be fine too. You don't have to, okay? But if you want to give me a backup, or I don't know if any of you work, you might. If you do work and you can't use your cell phone at work, and mom's landline won't do you any good if you're at work, if you can take an incoming call at work and want to give me that number, you can give me that one too. So I don't care. I don't need a number, but you can give me 0, 1, 2, or 3 numbers if you choose. That's completely up to you. I can't think of any reason I need more than 3. I don't need any, but if you want to give them to me, you can. What's that? You can. It's just that I don't have that ready yet, but that as soon as you do, yeah, you can do it there too. Good, and write your paper topic there too. That way you save a piece of paper. I like that guy. Okay. All right. So you'll need to find at least one, but 2 or more are better, outside sources for your paper. Like I said, you can scan the book, and it has lots of good ideas for the paper. So this can be a source for your ideas. It can't be a source for the paper. I don't want you finding a paragraph on Isaac Newton in here and writing on Isaac Newton or Gauss or somebody like that. That's not an outside source. So find an outside source. That can be book, journals, magazine, newspaper, any kind of articles, or anything you can find in the library. That would be a decent source. Or, now this place, you have to be very careful, a legitimate source found on the internet, okay? And I tell folks that probably the greatest thing that's been developed in my lifetime anyway, probably not yours, you probably was already developed before you were born, but all came about in my lifetime, has been the internet. I mean, it is just amazing. Didn't exist in 1951, and boy, what it is now is just absolutely incredible. 2 big problems with it, though. At least half of the stuff on there is total garbage, okay? And the second problem is sometimes we don't know which half that is. So be very careful when you're using the internet. Some places won't even allow you. Some instructors won't even allow you to use the internet. But if it's a good, reliable, legitimate source, you can. But the textbook is not an outside source. Now, your paper needs to be at least one word process page of text. Okay, now here's what I mean by that. Some people choose a format, and whatever format you choose is fine, that has a big header at the top, and then you skip a few lines in the title, and you triple space, and you start typing, say, here. What's one page of text? You go to the bottom of this page, then you start over on the next page and go at least that far. Okay? That's a page of text. Okay? Not, big headers, big margins, everything else, and you have a little bit written in the middle and say, oh, that's a page. No, it's not. Okay? So at least one word process page of text. Word process, not handwritten. If you type it, I guess that's okay. But, everybody word processes now. Double space. This is single space, so you can double space. In 12 or 20 or 12 or pitch or point font, that's standard size. I think that's what this is. No 26 point, that 3 words fill a page. You say, I've done. That's not going to work either. Okay? Standard. I don't care what font, I have to be able to read it. I don't read hieroglyphics or Old English or Cyrillic or Greek or Hebrew or anything else. So make sure it's good and readable. Y'all are going to do that. Times New Roman is a common default. This happens to be Arial. I like that. Courier is fine. I don't care what it is. Just keep it readable. Now, try to keep the paper less than 2 pages. I'm not trying to make this a major research document. I just want you to get out of the book, into the real world, think about what's out there. And if you get so excited about it, interested in it, you can't stop, and it goes into 3 or 4 pages, I don't care. That's fine. I like you to be excited about it. But what I don't want you to do is say, well, I don't know much about this. I'm not putting much into it, so I'll just I hope this won't offend anyone, but my bachelor's degree was a BS degree, and I know what most of you are thinking, okay? Then I got a master's, and it was an MS. That was just more of it, right? And then I got a PhD, and it was just piled higher and deeper. Okay, now, that's not what I want on the paper, okay? Don't think, well, I don't have much here, so I'm just going to write a lot. If it's a lousy paper, writing more is not going to get you any points. In fact, it may actually lose you points, because when you turn that paper in, it's a 100-point paper, right? And then I start reading it, and I can hear you now. Don't read it! No, I'm going to read it, okay? And as I find errors, you start losing points. So if you turn in a really sloppy, messy, poorly done paper, and you just make it long trying to earn extra points, it's not going to work, because you're just going to be losing more points, okay? So try to keep it less than 2 pages, but you don't have to. I don't take off points for it being too long. I will take off points for it being too short, less than 1 page, word process page of text. Okay, any format you choose, I don't care. Most of the English classes teach MLA. That's fine with me. A lot of scientific organizations use APA, American Psychological Association. They just came out with a great format. People say, wow, that's good. I will use it. And a lot of journals have their own formats. I don't care which one you use, but just be consistent. For instance, if you start blocking paragraphs, block them all. If you start indenting paragraphs, indent them all. Okay, just be consistent. When you're referencing a source, okay, I've seen this happen. Now, I think I know why. Maybe this first source is referenced. You put a parentheses, last name of the author, comma, year of publication, thought. And then down here you have another one, and you put an open parentheses and put title of the paper, comma, page number, close it. Wait, that's not consistent. Here's what happened, I think. This source here was using one format, and you just use that format to cite the source. But this one down here uses a different format, but you use the one that one used, okay? No, you pick your format, and then you be consistent with it. If it requires a works cited page, give me a works cited page. If it requires bibliography, do bibliography. Whatever it requires, you do, okay? I don't care which one, but you be consistent. Spelling, grammar, sentence structure, all those types of things that they grade in English class, they'll cost you points here too if they're errors. So there's no excuse for not using spell check, okay? And I read papers all the time I know nobody's used spell check on, or grammar check, okay? Most word processing packages have both of those free. They're there. Use them. Also use good proofreading. And this is an example of proofreading, but not good proofreading. Type, 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 read it. Type, 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 read it. Okay? Okay, you're proofing it sort of, but that's not good proofreading because you know what you're trying to say. And then when you read that, it's going to say what you intended it to say, whether it really says it or not. I mean, your mind's going to tell you that's what it's saying. I had an English teacher in high school that said this when she assigned things like this, and it's great advice. I'll use some of her words too. She said, when you get your paper done and then let it rest. Set it down. Don't look at it for a few days. Then pick it up, and here again she used with fresh eyes. Read it then. And if you pause and say, what does that mean? Okay, guess what? I'm going to pause and say, what was I trying to say? Or what is he trying to say? So please, use good proofreading, okay? Let it rest and pick it up later. Now, content also matters. I've been focusing on the grammar stuff, but no, content matters. These are just a couple of dumb examples, but I've actually seen them. Someone writing about Isaac, you can say, and they give the date of his birth, year of his birth, year of his death. And then over here on page 2, they say he died a different year. I mean, that's not consistent. You be careful. Make sure you're doing. And I've seen this too. Something that happened in 1492, they typed in 1942. I think I can pick that up. That didn't happen then. It happened way before then or way after then. So be careful. Content also matters. I've had people write on the Pythagorean theorem, which is a great topic, or Pythagoras, okay, another great topic, but they've given me the theorem totally wrong. I mean, they got it. They put the plus and minus signs in the wrong places. I usually will recognize content errors as well. Now, when's the paper due? Technically, the last day of class, okay? Now, that's before final exams week, that last Monday or Wednesday before final exam week starts, okay? But please don't put it off till then. You'll never have more time to work on the paper than you do right now, okay? So get looking, get thinking about it, and do the best you can on it. I've done this at least for the last 15 years. I've been teaching here. This is my 19th year. I think we've been doing papers for at least 15 of those years. And back in the old days, we had 4 terms a year when we were on quarters. Now we have 3. And I typically have taught anywhere from 4 to 8 courses a term. And I've had maybe not this many in every class, but usually average about 15 or so in every class. That's a lot of, and I assign papers in every class. That's a lot of papers, okay? Now here's the general trend. Those I get in early in the term are usually my best papers. Usually, not always, okay, but usually. And then as it goes on, maybe they plateau there, but usually towards the end I get those people, oh, my paper, okay, here it is, okay. No proofing, no spell check, no grammar check, no nothing really, not even much effort put into it. I've received some real dogs early in the term. I've received some real good papers late in the term, but the general trend is downhill. Okay? So please try to get started on it early. Now, that's the stick. Okay? Here's the carrot. Let's start with December. If you turn in the paper anytime the month of December, you get the score you get on the paper. If you turn it in the month of November, you get that score plus I add a bonus point. October, 2 bonus points. September, 3 bonus points. If you turn it in this month, now you don't have much of this month left, but we do have a few days. If you can get it done, now don't rush something in, but if you can get me a paper in the month of August, 4 bonus points. Okay? Okay. That's what I have to correct here. Okay? Now, I require something that most people don't. When you submit your paper, please attach a single page from one of your sources. Now, let's say you had 3 sources. I don't need a page from every source. Okay? And I don't need the entire source. I think there's one seat right over there. Okay? I don't need the entire source. Let me get your name, please. Sabrina, what? That's right. Young? Is that how you write it? With an MC? What's your first name? Sabrina. Okay, is that what you live on? Okay. Welcome to class. Okay. All right, now if everybody shows one day, we're either going to have to get more desks or a new room. So we'll figure that out as we get there. Okay. Now, Sabrina, since you weren't here last time, I recorded the last class, and I record every class. Okay. So it's not on Blackboard yet, but I'm going to try today, if I possibly can, to copy that recording to Blackboard, probably under content, okay? Now, it's not there yet, but I'm going to try to get it there. And then we've been finishing up the syllabus today and now the research paper, so you'll be able to hear from today's class what you missed so far. But submit a single page from one of your sources, okay? If it's something you got out of the library, take that book or magazine or journal or newspaper, whatever, copy me one page from the source. If it's something you got off the internet, print me one page from the source. You don't have to print the whole thing. Now, maybe you printed it for your purposes in writing. That may have been how you did it, but I only need one page from it, okay? Any questions on the paper? I'll get this stuff corrected here, and then I'll put this on Blackboard under content. Your syllabus will be there. It's not there yet. Research paper, I'll put my locator card there. It's not there yet. I'll put all the PowerPoints there. They're not there yet. And I'll put sources that students have given me or I found that you might find useful for the course. You know, websites, things like that. I'll put those there, okay? And then, hopefully, I guess that's where I'll put the Webcast-O-Matic. I've never used this package before. It seems to be working okay. I don't know how it looks from the student side. So once I get it out there, y'all let me know. Is the sound okay? You know, that kind of stuff. Let me know if there's any problems with it. All right, any questions? All right, like I said, I do not have my locator card ready, but when I do, I'll flash that up and talk about it. But then there's one more thing we got to do before we start math. I'm sorry about this, but they want us to do all this stuff at the first of the term. I talked too long about it. It's safety. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about three forms of safety. Anyone make a guess of what one of those might be? Say that again? Okay, so we're going to start with fire then. Or fire or any other thing that happens inside the building. Okay? Now, a couple of scenarios here. Let's say that in this fan room right next door to us, a bearing freezes up and it overheats and the grease starts burning and putting out smoke. So we're the first people to realize that. What do we do? Okay, somebody needs to pull an alarm. So we need to know where's the closest fire alarm. Okay, now I'll get away from the sound here for a minute. This part of, in fact, all of the second floor that you see here on this illustration here, we're right here in the corner. All these, this is the old part of the building. The old part of the building was built before they required fire alarms on the halls. You will not find one anywhere in this old part of the building. So anywhere that they have the terrazzo floors in the hallway, don't even bother looking. Okay. So to get to the closest fire alarm, you go out the door here, take a left, go down that half flight of stairs, and then go to that little corridor right past the restrooms that goes across to the financial aid office. See, that's first floor. That's why they don't list it here. That's the new part of the building, the most recently built since I've been here. As soon as you go through that corridor, there's a fire alarm immediately on that wall right there when you go through the corridor. So one or two people go down. I think it's better to go in pairs and sound the alarm. Okay? What do the rest of us do? Okay, let's go back and see how we leave the building. We want to go the closest route. Now, if the fire's in that room, maybe we don't want to go out this door. We might want to go around, go out that next door, just if the flames shooting out of the thing. That's what we do. But however we do, we go out, take a left, go down the half flight of stairs, go down a full flight, and then away from the building. Usually they say about 75 feet at least away from the building. Don't say, well, it's raining or it's sunny, I'm going to set it in the shade here. No, if you're near the building and something does explode, all that glass goes flying out, you don't want to be within range. So go 75 feet away. And we stay together. Okay? Now, all of you look like pretty healthy people. Okay? But somebody may have a skiing accident or something like this and be on crutches or in a wheelchair and stuff. I'm going to be with that person making sure that last person gets out safely. Okay? So I won't be there when you first get out there, maybe. Okay? I'll be bringing up the rear, but I'll be taking my roll book, and we have to account for everybody. So don't say, hey, fire in the building, no more classes today, I'm out of here. If you do that and they're already gone and I get out there and we can't account for you, then some emergency personnel is going to have to come back into the building, risking his or her own life into a burning, exploding building trying to find you. You don't do that. You stay together until we get word what to do. The odds are we will be going home, but don't make that decision on your own. All right. Let's then also pretend, what if, I can't think of many things with a pet fire, but let's say my pile of papers spontaneously combusts. The fire starts right there. We don't even have a trash can for it to start in, but somewhere, or maybe this overheats and it starts. So we'll add that to it. Yeah, somebody goes down and pulls the alarm. Oh, and another thing, most of you have cell phones. We used to have a phone in the office back there, so they took it out. If you have the Lost and State Police on speed dial, which is probably not a bad thing to have, dial them too, okay, and tell them where we are, where the smoke's coming from, and stuff like this. Same if it happened in here. But what else would we do if the fire was actually here in this room? The extinguisher. Where's the closest fire extinguisher? Okay. Right out of this door, 5 feet from where I'm standing. You can't get much closer to the fire extinguisher than that. Right there. Okay. So while I'm trying to help people get out or do whatever, if I can't go out there and get the fire extinguisher, someone gets it. I'll handle using it unless I'm damaged or something. So, and then we proceed out. So we call campus police. If you don't have that, if no one has it, what do we dial then? 911. Very good. They'll notify campus police, but the alarm will also notify campus police. But we need to tell them where it is if we can get that. So when you dial 911, be sure you tell them a building, much detail as possible. Second floor, room 255, and please notify campus police. We don't have their number, okay, whatever. So that's fire or chemical. If someone smells chemical, a gas leak or something like that, out of here, same type thing. All right, that's internal emergency. We get out. Go low and get out, okay, and stay together. What's another type of safety that we have to be concerned with? Second? Tornadoes. This is Alabama, right? And now fall is not as bad, but we still have had tornadoes in the fall. Anytime you have a major change of weather, fall is when it goes from warm to cold. Usually it's cold to warm in the spring. That's when you have the worst chance, but you can have them now. So what do we do in case that alarm sounds? What do we do? Say yes. We go low and go interior, not exterior. Do not leave the building. Don't say, oh, tornado coming, I need to get home. No, you don't. The worst place to be is on the road in a car. Don't go there. So again, you go out of the room, down this half flight of stairs, down one full flight, and then go in. You are now at the lowest point in the A building here, okay, or very close to it. Now, where do you want to go once you're there? Well, the safest, and this is surprising, but you might want to, probably the restrooms, because the walls are close together, right this is a safe place. So after that, underneath this thing that says corner here, actually there's a couple more flights of stairs going down, and then there's the dean's office. Now, it's usually locked, but if the academic dean, Dr. Davis, or the associate dean, Dr. Pruitt, are there, they probably will let a few people in, as much as the room can hold. Again, the walls are close together, and it's not a bad place. Again, no emergency lighting, but they do have glass in the doorway so you can see something. But after that, probably the next safest is the hallway. Now, no corners there, but the walls are relatively close together. It's interior, that's not bad. So I would say stay around the wall, not in the middle of the hall. But if that gets too crowded, the big advantage of the hallway is it does have emergency lighting. Okay? So you can sort of settle in there and spend some time. Okay? But if it's really crowded and you want to get out of there, then you can go on down the hall. The next room is room 160 on the first floor. It's an interior room, completely surrounded. The backside is soil, so really safe there. The trouble is it's a big room. Okay? So don't be in the middle. Be near the wall. Corners are best, but don't get in the fight of getting in the corner. Okay. Next down the hall on the first floor, you go through the glass doors, and then on the right is the library computer room. That's a little bit smaller room, so the walls are a little bit closer together, and you got four corners again. So that's not bad. Right next to that is the reference room. I guess you call it research. I don't know what it is, where the globes and the atlases and those kind of things are. That's an okay room. A little bit bigger than the computer room, but that's not bad. Probably no emergency lighting there either, but at least a little more space than the hallway. Don't go any further in the library, because any further, you're on an outside wall. You do not want to be on an outside wall because glass can come, because tornadoes tend to send tree limbs and other things flying through the air at great speeds, and they could come through a window, splattering glass everywhere and injuring you. So, low interior. Stay together as a group, so don't go to the restrooms yet. Stay together as a group till I get down there following the last person down, and then I call roll again. If we can't account for you, somebody's got to come looking for you, okay? And you could be risking their lives just because you decided to go visit a friend somewhere, okay? Or try to make a way home. So please stay together. All right, any questions on tornado? What's the third safety issue? Active shooter. Man, we never even used to think of that, okay? It's happened on community college campus before. I'm not sure how many, but I can think of at least one. Not in Alabama. Hopefully it won't be. But actually, Monday, I was down at the help desk talking with the dean, Dr. Davis. She got a phone call on her cell phone. She was trying to help a student. It was one of my adjunct math instructors. She said, "Here, your department chair is right here." She handed me her cell phone. That teacher, she was a teacher in high school. She taught here in the evenings. She said, "I'm in lockdown." Now, the student the shooting wasn't on campus, but it was right off campus, and they kept the students from leaving, kept the faculty kept everybody was leaving. And this was 5 o'clock. She said, "It looks like we're not going to be able to leave before my class starts. It's 5:30. I'm not going to be able to meet my class tonight." That child actually died, okay? So it wasn't just a shooting, it was a fatal shooting. So it does happen. Hopefully it won't happen here, but what do we do if there's an active shooter in the building? Say again? You what?
I'll go right for it.
Okay, don't. Okay. I don't want to write up any incident reports, I don't want to do that yet. What? Somebody else says something. All right, close and lock the door. Now, the sad news is this door is not lockable except from the outside. Except from the outside. I do have a key. Look, I have to come out and lock the door from the outside. And I come back in, and now it's locked from the outside. Okay? Now, but we got doors over here, too. Oh, it's not like from the inside. We can get out. Okay. Now, this door right here has a button right here that you can lock it, but it locks it from the inside, and it's still openable for that. So don't lock this one, okay? That's one here. Okay. This one has a key. I don't have a key for I will try to take care of that, but if some of you want to do it first, don't do this one, that one, do that next door, push that button, close it. Close this one because see there's glass in that door. So close this one so he can't see in, can't shoot his way in. Okay? And then what we do is get right back here. You got company, okay? Yeah, this is the safest place to be. Well, it's not like that. We want to be out of sight of this window. We want to be out of sight of that window. We turn off the lights and we're very. Now, what else have we done though? Call 911, call campus crew. They probably are on top of it. Y'all got cell phones, make the call. Okay? One call, that's all. Or, no, that's okay. And we stay very still until we're absolutely sure everything's clear. And it could be a while. We're back here, out of sight, you know, and with that concrete wall between us and the hall. Okay? Good deal. Any questions on that? I'm sorry we have to even mention it, but it's reality these days. All right, so that's safety. Any questions on safety whatsoever? Okay. I think we're ready for math. Yo! We only have 12 minutes left. All right. All right, I think the last time I told you that we're beginning, and for those who weren't here last time, and most people didn't have the book, but a few people do now, Chapter 1 in your book is review. I mean, it's basic concepts and properties. You ought to know this to be in Math 100. You ought to have that down pat pretty well, okay? Chapter 2, equations, inequalities, and problem solving. You should have that pretty well, too, either through 098 or from high school. If you scored well enough to get in here, you should know it. Sections 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. That's all 098 material. In fact, 3.4 is 098 material, but that's just a typical place we start, and that's where we'll be starting this today. Now, I don't know if I hit it wrong or something, but it seems like this is not quite placed well. I'm sort of anal retentive about my projection. Okay? I want it so y'all can see everything. Okay? Probably too low now, but it's okay. Now, I need to get out of, this is something just on my part, hide presenter view. Okay. All right. I think we're, nope, one more. Yes, finally. Okay. Now, Chapter 3 is talking about polynomials. What do we mean by a polynomial? What does that mean? Polynomial. What does the prefix poly mean? Say again? Okay, no, that's quinta, but it's many. Many, okay? Now, here's the strange thing about math. Many can be as few as one, okay? So, it means many. Now, anyone got an idea what nomial means? Basic, what'd you say? Okay, very good, pretty close. Actually, I think it's from the Greek the French or Latin or somewhere for name, many names. But we're not talking about names or necessarily numbers. What we're talking about here are terms. That's going to be our names here, terms. Many terms. Now, it could be as few as 1 term, 2 terms, 15 terms, okay? Many terms. That's what. Now, what makes up a term? That's the key here. What makes a term? Kayla, what did you just say? Numbers. You can have numbers in a term, but you don't have to. What else could you have in a term? Variables. Excellent. Okay? And those variables can be raised to powers. Okay? Exponents. But those exponents, to be a term, those exponents are limited. What are they limited to? Positive integers. 1/2 is not an integer. -3 is not a positive integer. It has to be, the terms, the exponents for the variables have to be whole numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Okay. And the numbers can be in there too. So that's what makes a term. Numbers and or variables raised to positive whole number integral exponents. That's what a polynomial is. And then you connect those polynomials by plus or minus signs. That's what makes a term. Things separated by plus or minus sign. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is factoring. And we're going to start with a pretty simple greatest common factor and common binomial factor. Now, this is probably old hat to everybody, I hope. Is it? But it's important enough we're going to go over it. The objectives in this section are going to be classified numbers as prime. And we're going to start with numbers. Prime and composite. Does anyone know the difference between those? Difference between a prime and composite number. Anyone? We'll get to it, okay? Okay, number 2. Factor composite numbers into a product of prime numbers. Okay, that's also called prime factorization. Number 3. Understand the rules about completely factored form. Okay, we'll go over that, and we'll factor out the greatest common monomial factor. Okay, hopefully these words are fairly familiar to you. If they're not, don't sweat it. We will get it. We will factor out common binomial factor. We will factor by grouping. We'll all get together. No, okay. We'll factor to solve equations. That's what the whole purpose is. And frankly, the whole purpose for all this is to solve problems. Solve word problems that involve factoring. Our favorites, right? Yes. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. Now, 2 and 3 are said to be factors of 6. Why? Because 2 times 3 are 6. So factors are things that multiply to be together to be some other number. Okay, that's what we mean by factoring. Factoring is factors multiply together. Okay, because the product of 2 and 3 is 6. Likewise, an indicated product such as 7AB. What does that mean? 7 times A times B. Variable A times variable B. Those are obviously factors because they're things multiplied together. Okay? The 7's a factor, A's a factor, B's a factor, 7A is a factor, 7B's a factor, AB's a factor. But we're just going to take it down to the simplest. Okay? Now, if a positive integer greater than 1, okay, 1 is neither composite or prime, okay? But if a positive integer greater than 1 has no factors that are positive integers other than itself in 1. Blah, blah, blah. What do they mean by that? Can someone give me a positive integer that has no factors other than itself in 1? Second? 3. Perfect example. Another one? 5. 7. 31. Very good. Yep. 11. Okay, y'all are good. What do we call those? 13. 17, huh? No, those are prime. Those are the prime numbers. You left off the smallest one. No, 1, it says other than 1. 2. 2 is a prime number. And guess what? 2 is the only even prime number in the world. Right? Because every other even number has 2 as a factor. Right? So it's the only even prime number. Good trivial question there. So that's your definition of a prime number. Anything that cannot be factored into any number, positive, not integers, okay, that cannot be factored any way except itself times 1. Okay? Then that's a prime number. All right, thus, and y'all already said every one of these, I think, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19, I said those last two, are prime numbers. Okay? Now, then what a composite number is, what do you almost see in there? Composed of other numbers. That's what a composite number is. A positive number greater than positive integer greater than 1, not a prime number, is a composite number. Obviously, these have to have factors of other prime numbers. Okay? Now, the composite number less than 20 would be certainly all your evens, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. Those are all composite numbers. But we do have a few odds, yes.
I know you said you kind of angled something about your projector, but we can't see over here.
You can. Okay. Because of that.
Yeah.
If there's any place you can move your desk, these people over here don't smell too bad, I don't think. So you can come here. Yeah. Anywhere I move this is going to be in someone's way.
You can't move this projector over just a little bit. That thing might be in the middle of the screen, but I mean.
Okay, we can try that. Let me get this right. Doesn't okay. All right. Now the trouble is, my cords are only so long.
Yeah, I know that.
So she's messing with my projector. You know what she's doing? She's doing it. Okay. Yeah. I know. I'm just placating. No, I'm sorry. Okay. So these are composite numbers. Is that a little better? Yeah.
They gave us an extension cord.
Huh?
They gave us a double-leaded cord for
This?
Yeah, that's the same thing as the welding shop. And I ran it all the way up to the ceiling. It's a good cord. I ran it through the ceiling.
Yeah. Actually, we're supposed to have in fact, the dean said she had ordered a projector for us, but it's sitting in her office and she won't send it over here and have it put in. I don't know why. What's that?
I got to work.
Okay. I will see what I can do about getting our projector done. And I'll still have to have something up here to put my computer on, but I'll get rid of this box. But that's what we got for now. All right, good deal, folks. We'll pick up there next time. And, we'll do math all next week. You won't do any more of this.
Yeah, I didn't want to get done. I need to see
For you,
Yes.
you know the screen you had up here telling like all the instructions for the paper we need to have by like the end of the semester. Would you be able to like just put that up on Blackboard?
That's what I'm going to try to do. I got to correct it and then put it on Blackboard.
All right,
I'll try to do that this afternoon if I can find time.
That's what I'm finna ask. When you gonna put that stuff on Blackboard?
As soon as I can. But you say I've got class now. I've got class at 9:30. I've got class at.
It should be that
Well,
this weekend, maybe.
Oh, I hope
Okay.
so. I sure hope so.
Thank you.
I thought I was late. I had baseball.
It ain't gonna be.
He forgot. He said he tried to let us out.
I've had baseball players before, so I understand. And you're coming from the bar party.
He said he tried to let us out 30 minutes early, but today he just forgot.
I see.
It's like 10
Okay.
minutes.
Were you here last year? Or is this your first year? Oh, you did. Okay. Because I had a guy in several classes last year. Josh Miney. Josh Miney.
We played against them, but I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it. I mean, all I do is whatever you text goes to it. I know these things on there. Yeah, not gonna be a problem at all.
A lot of them are probably. I don't think I'm. She puts in a lot of accommodation. I don't think I'll need all of them.
Okay.
It's my goal. I'm going to be a nurse, so it's my goal to do really well. So I got to be on it. I'm going to do my best. Do that. But I know, so a couple of things on, I don't know.
None of those I have any problem with. And you don't need them all, that's fine. If you do need to go to a different room or quieter room, no problem.
Well, I got I'm through student support services, so I got paid for 5 dollars.
Right. Oh, excellent.
So I should, now I'm trying to do very well.
Okay, I think you will. All right, good deal.
I just want to introduce myself.
Okay.
Well, I know I did earlier, but I just want to come. It's a pleasure being in your place.
All right, great having you. All right, good deal. Glad you could make it.
And you said we'll be on Blackboard. Everything went over, right?
Yes, it's not there yet, but I'm going to try to get it there as soon as I can.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.